We're here at the PGA Show, and I'm with PGA of America Chief Championships Officer Kerry Haigh. Kerry, thank you for joining us. First question, did you ever have a moment while you're interim CEO where you're like, let's shake this thing up a little bit?
No, it was an honor to serve as the interim CEO for just over 6 months. But happy to say Derek Sprague is our new CEO and just started this week. So could not be happier for him and for the PGA of America, and I can get back to my normal day job.
And we were talking earlier, this is your 31st PGA Show. Can you still learn something from this show and apply it to that day job in the upcoming year? Yeah,
absolutely. The PGA Show is happening in the business of golf, and you get to meet everyone that you need to see here at the show. It's a great meeting spot. Just this morning I met on the Ryder Cup. Got meetings the next couple of days on the championships that we have. So yeah, it's wonderful. You get to see a lot of old friends, make new friends, and all towards planning for great championships next year.
I might have to see those meeting notes from that Ryder Cup meeting of yours. You can just slip it to me. But you mentioned the championships. You have 4. I'm going to stick to 2, if that's okay with you. First one, we'll go chronological. The PGA Championship returns to Quail Hollow this year. Last time it was there, it was held in August in 2017. This year in May. What are the challenges between setting up in May as opposed to August?
Yeah, totally different. Since 2019, we moved the championship to a May date. In Quail Hollow's case, firstly, it's obviously a great golf course, as it was when we played in 2017. But got to work closely with our superintendent, Keith Wood, who is an incredible superintendent at Quail Hollow. Unlike in 2017, we are overseeding. We have overseeded the golf course, so that it will play a little differently than it did. Hopefully the weather will be a little more temperate, a little more appealing for spectators and for the players and caddies and for everyone watching. But it remains a great test of golf. School could be in, which affects some of the logistics for parking and transportation. But overall, Quail Hollow is a great club that supports championship golf. Unlike any other, they have a tour event every year, except when they have the PGA. Johnny Harris is, flamboyant owner, manager, committee member of Quail, and a great person, great family, and really a great club to work with to make hopefully this championship the very best we've ever had.
Do you have a preference between May and August?
I don't. Each creates its own, challenges and excitement. I think the fact that hopefully it is a more temperate climate is something that everyone enjoys. Weather-wise, you tend to get a little more variable weather in May, which again, I think from a golfing standpoint, a viewer standpoint, is probably good. More chance of wind, which obviously affects how the course plays. But no, each has its own challenges, but it's our job to hopefully showcase the course for the best players in the world to showcase their skills.
You going to have to do anything special with the greens? I was there last year. New greens put in at Quail Hollow. They were like trampolines for these guys. I think it surprised them the first 2 days, especially. Anything special green related that you're going to have to do to make it a championship test?
No, the green complexes at Quail are really challenging, really good. The fact that it's, they redid the greens and they're pretty firm, it's probably a good thing. It may make the golf course play a little more challenging. I think the players, as long as they're not too firm, good shots will be rewarded, and which is what we want, which is what you want for a major championship. And as I say, it's a great test of golf. It has a couple of short, drivable par 4s, reachable par 5s, challenging par 4s, a middle-of-the-road par 4. So it has a great mix, great variety, and as we saw in 27, it produced a great champion then, and we certainly hope it will do again this year.
What do you say to the golf fan who has seen Quail Hollow a decent amount lately between the President's Cup and obviously annually on the PGA Tour? This tournament, as we mentioned, is only a week removed from its regular stop on the PGA Tour. What do you say to this fan how is this going to be any different from the PGA Tour event?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be similar in terms of the look. You can't change the look of what the golf course is at the same time of year. But it is a major championship. We have 156 of the best players in the world. We'll be inviting players from every tour around the world. And they'll be showcasing their skills. We will, as we try to do at every championship, create the golf course so that the players have to think their way around and hopefully enjoy the golf course even more than they do on a year-in, year-out basis. But put the best players in the world on a great championship golf course that's in excellent condition with a bit of Mother Nature thrown in, and we're hoping we'll have what could be the most exciting championship we've ever had.
I'm glad you mentioned the best players in the world, and I know Seth Waugh kind of took the qualification process or how you invite your players more as a work of art as opposed to a math equation. Is there any inkling that you guys are going to lean more towards the math equation LIV Golf players have been coming out and saying, maybe the top 4, maybe the top 6, whatever it may be, kind of pleading that case, or are we going to keep it more of that piece of art that has been alluded to?
Yeah, our eligibility criteria is already sort of announced.
Mm-hmm.
That will not change, but the great thing about our criteria is it allows us to have a lot of invitations to the championship, which because of that, the last 3 years we have had the top 5 players from the LIV money list play in the championship, which is something that we're proud of. We feel they are obviously really good players, some of the best players in the world, and which is why we have invited them to play in the championship, along with those who are exempt through other means, winning major championships and what have you. So not just the LIV Tour, but we look at the International Federation ranking list from the World Golf Rankings, and on that list, Australia, Sunshine Tour, Japan, and South Africa, and look at those lists and invite the leaders of their respective money list to play in the championship. So that's how we're able to get a truly international field that includes the best players in the world, and we pride ourselves on having that and having that ability to invite those players to hopefully make the championship. You've got to beat the best in the world to win a major championship.
Absolutely, I totally agree. From a personal standpoint, PGA's been kind of on a heater lately with their championship venues. You think of Restored Oak Hill, you go to Quail Island, the Ocean Course, Southern Hills recently redone. What is your favorite type of golf course to set up? Is it more Parkland? Is it like an Ocean Course perhaps? Kerry Haigh's favorite type of golf course to set up?
Well, I always answer that my favorite golf course to set up is the next one I'm going to set up. And Quail Hollow is a great golf course, and although I'll learn from what we did in 2017 and try and make it more interesting and more exciting for the best players. But every course I look at, every championship venue we play, each has its own unique characteristics of how the golf course plays, and it's our job to try and bring out those characteristics so that the players can showcase their skills on incredible golf courses.
I'll get a real answer out of you after this. I promise you that. I'm glad you brought up that Quail Hollow is your favorite right now when it comes to the men's professional game. After May, though, it might have to transition to Bethpage Black in the Ryder Cup. From what I understand, you kind of had the captains and the leadership's ear when they were over in Rome. Even though you weren't setting up the golf course over there, you were telling them, maybe they might do this, maybe they might do that. Did anything that they did over there at Marco Simone surprise you at all?
No, as I think most people know by now, home course advantage in the Ryder Cup is really left up to the captain of the respective home team, and he can sort of dictate how the golf course is set up in terms of rough length, green speed, width of fairways, any architectural changes or tees to be used. up until the weekend prior to the start of the Ryder Cup. At that point, PGA of America and Ryder Cup Europe both have a representative that set up the golf course, with those green speeds, with those widths of fairways, and with the height of rough as sort of dictated by the captain. And then they set the holes and set the tees each day, each session between themselves. And neither team know where they're going to be, which tee, where the tees are going to be. But both teams are given all 5 hole locations ahead of time. So there's not, one side doesn't have an advantage over the other. So there's a lot more input in the Ryder Cup from the captain than there is at the PGA Championship when we, the committee, set up the golf course. But again, that adds some interest and some mystique to the Ryder Cup. In Rome, the rough was rough. The fairways are relatively narrow. The bunkers were penal, and the greens were relatively average speed. And obviously, when we're at home, we do things a little differently. And each captain feels that's to their advantage.
So what are you and Keegan Bradley talking about these days? Have you had those conversations yet?
I'll let you talk to Keegan on that.
I don't like how good you are at hiding some of your answers. I'm going to let you know that right now. Okay, maybe a bit more broader about the Ryder Cup. PGA was just there about 5 years ago for the PGA Championship that Brooks Koepka won. Can fans expect a brute test like that, or are we going to massage it, maybe maneuver it so there's some more fireworks perhaps?
Yeah, I think it's fair. Historically, or the most recent Ryder Cups, the setup for U.S. home-based Ryder Cups has been a little, softer, easier. The rough has not been 4 or 5 inches. It's been a lower height. Green speeds are green speeds, depending on the slope in the respective greens. As you say, we played Bethpage in 2019. The greens are generally not flat, but I'd say gentle undulations versus severe undulation. So they can take quite a bit of speed. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that recent home Ryder Cups, the scoring players have been able to score if they played well, but it's all subject to the weather. We've had pretty good weather the last 2 or 3 home Ryder Cups. Hopefully we will again, but if the wind blows at 20 or 30 miles an hour at Bethpage, it is an absolute brute, no matter how the golf course is set up. So, Mother Nature, we'll wait and see what it brings. And Bethpage, a wonderful golf course. It's just a big golf course. Everything about it is big. The bunkers are big, the greens are big. It's a long walk, it's a big walk. But I can assure you it'll be an atmosphere unlike any other. The New York crowds, we know they're going to get behind our team. Both teams, Europe bring a lot of support, a lot of spectators, but it should be an epic and a memorable Ryder Cup.
I just want you to know, when it does blow 20 and you guys are like, oh, this is so difficult, I'll be smiling. I will love that. That will be fantastic theater to watch. I'm glad you brought up the last couple of U.S. Ryder Cups. Whistling Straits, kind of in oddish time, emerging from the pandemic, out there in Kohler, Wisconsin. If we want to put that on a scale of 1 to 10 at maybe, I think all Ryder Cups are 10 if not above, but could be lower on the scale. And then this year, Bethpage Black, that could be off the scale, right? What are the preparations for, let's just say, rowdy New Yorkers that you guys have in place?
Yeah, as I said, the great thing about the Ryder Cup is the spectators, the fans are passionate about one side or the other. So I was related to a college football game. You're rooting for one team or you're rooting for the other, which is unlike golf week in, week out. So, the polite, quiet golf clap is not heard as often at the Ryder Cup as maybe it is at other championships. But that's what makes the Ryder Cup so special, the passion and the dedication and the eagerness of the spectators to root on their team. Obviously, security is an issue, and it's something that we will and have been working closely with the New York State Police, and they'll be very visible and present, and any behavior that gets out of line will be dealt with appropriately and very quickly. But we don't expect that overall, the spectators are there to have a good time. Yes, we want them to shout. Yes, we want them to show passion, but be respectful to both teams, which is what makes the Ryder Cup so great. You know, the first tier, the Ryder Cup, there is nothing like it in the game of golf. And, you know, we've created a grandstand for the first time. We'll be around not only the first tee, but the 18th green, which are actually side by side. So if you're in that grandstand, you'll be able to see the players teeing off, and 3 or 4 hours later, coming back to play 18. So it's going to be an incredible atmosphere. Bethpage is a wonderful site, and we look forward to the people of New York and elsewhere supporting their teams as only they can.
Yes, mostly New Yorkers, presumably. You got to prepare like it's mostly New Yorkers. I think that's the safe way to put it. I bring up the fans because I am curious, how do you balance almost the commercialization of the Ryder Cup? It's grown into its own thing. It's a beast. It's what everyone looks forward to during a Ryder Cup year, and almost the sanctity of the competition. And I feel like that back and forth has been really on display this past year between paying players, the ticket prices, and all of that stuff. So how do you strike that balance?
Yeah, it's certainly it's a great sporting event. It's one of the greatest sporting events, certainly in the country, if not in the world. And certainly every golfer talks about the Ryder Cup as if it's, you know, the Super Bowl of football. So, you know, it is priced accordingly. But it is something. It's, you know, it's 12 hours of golfing entertainment, and there's no other sport where you can see the best players in their respective sports for 12 hours long. So, you know, the price includes food and non-alcoholic beverages all day long. So, you know, there's certainly some value to the price and the cost. But at the same time, to your point, you know, we have to run a professionally run event, and that's what we try and do at the Ryder Cup. We'll have numerous video boards throughout the golf course so that those spectators are able to see play as it's happening, even though they may not be on the hole where the golf is being played. You know, we try and give the spectators an experience that they won't have anywhere else in golf. So it's our Super Bowl of golf. It's the best players in the world playing in an atmosphere unlike any other, and you know, we're proud of what comes out of it. It's something our PGA members are proud of, that we the PGA of America and Ryder Cup Europe, run the event collectively. We try and put on the greatest event we can so that everyone involved feels good about it, be it the players, the caddies, the player families, their coaches, their managers, spectators, 3,500 volunteers, all the television viewers from around the world. They're all there to watch what we think is the greatest event in golf.
I agree. Well, Kerry, I believe that's our time for today. It was an honor, much appreciated, and I will get that answer out of you regarding what golf course is your favorite type to set up. I'm going to hold you to that.
Thank you.